Well, I think it's time to get back into some more wrestling game reviews. Even if these things completely flop view-wise, I just want to cover these various titles. Whether it's a game I grew up playing, or one I never got the chance to, let alone never heard of. Such as this one called WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game. Oh boy, do I have some things to say about this game. From its fast-paced action to the outlandish nature of tombstones and clown hammers being thrown around a wrestling ring. With a style to match Mortal Kombat, both the iconic WWF superstars of old. Let's hurry up and get this one over with so I can tackle many other wrestling games out there, such as childhood classics like Smackdown 2, Know Your Role. You know the drill. If you're not new around here, then again you probably are, we'll split everything up into chapters, and if YouTube ever grants me access to YouTube chapters again after losing them because my channel wasn't getting enough views for them, you can use them to navigate this video, or just look in the description. Alright, let's get this over with. So yeah, this game is developed and published by Midway in arcades, as this was originally an arcade game, hence the name of the console port. It was ported to consoles by Sculptured Software, with publishing being dealt with by Acclaim Entertainment. Ah yes, Acclaim. The 90s LJN. Boo! The entire concept is taking NBA Jam and Mortal Kombat's pre-rendered sprites of actual people and making them brutalize each other in outlandish ways, with a fast-paced gameplay, leaving very little wiggle room for error, as even on lower difficulty options of easy and normal, the AI will not hold back, or at times relax itself for you to get a chance, but then out of nowhere, obliterate you. Something you will notice is bleeding isn't a thing. Instead, each wrestler bleeds an object that represents their character, like skeleton parts for Undertaker and food for Yokozuna.
What was he thinking? Magnificent! You have to give credit to Yokozuna!
Another thing you will notice is commentary by Vince McMahon. Boo! As well as the man himself, Jerry the King Lawler.
Yay!
Just like any fighting game ever, the controls are stiff, awkward, unintuitive, and a pain in your thumb. But then again, what else is new for fighting games? It's literally just spam a single attack and hope to win simulators.
Makes sense? You hear me? Shut up!
Well, I'm not wrong. So get triggered, fighting fans. You guys just can't handle the truth.
You want the truth? You want the truth? You can handle the truth!
Anyways, this game is very much like Mortal Kombat, as in it's tankish. Every time you attack, you're frozen in place, so you need to ensure your opponent is right there in front of you, otherwise, it will not register as a hit. But the animation frames add up with your attacks, plus on top of the time-consuming misses you will be doing for most of the time, you will also be countered by your opponent. All because this game has such fast-paced action, you won't realize what's happening till it's too late. You just have a punch, kick, strong attack, block, run, and movement buttons. You can combine two of them, this being circle and triangle on the PS1 version, to grab at your opponent in the hopes of pulling off any moves like throws and skull cracking. Given limitations of the time, these types of games usually had a tiny roster due to development issues or memory limitations, so we only get a tiny roster of 8 superstars, those being Bret the Hitman Hart, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Bam Bam Bigelow, Yokozuna, Doink the Clown, and Lex Luger. All characters control the same, so it doesn't matter who you play as. Just pick whoever is your favorite. Also, during gameplay, you will end up fighting another version of whoever you're playing as, which can lead to moments like this.
Tonight in the squared circle, Yokozuna versus Yokozuna.
The game is truly bipolar. You can go from winning a round to losing the next in the blink of an eye, as the AI can either be Bethesda levels of stupid or brutal as a From Software DLC enemy.
Get the fuck! Good idea! Ass! What a jerk! It's a total...
What happened?
Or even after you win several matches, the AI can say, "Nah fam, you're getting too ahead of yourself. Time to punish you for being successful." Guess I wasn't Asian enough for the AI's liking.
It's a total debacle!
The hell is that?
It's just such cock and ball torture to go from winning to being face planted into a bed of porcupines because the AI decided to wake up and choose violence. I get that it's an arcade game, but god damn, the home console version isn't exactly a walk in the park. I was sweating up a storm playing this game. I haven't had to be this fast and responsive in years of gaming. It's truly just a mindfuck of, hey, good job, you're kicking ass, but now we have to blast your nutsack off with an anti-tank rifle.
What? What the fuck?
Like I said, the action is so fast-paced, I wasn't able to process things in real time. It's like the game is breaking the sound barrier and my brain isn't able to notice it till hours later. Just a complete mindfuck of bullshit, chaos, and kind of fun? Did I just say that right? I had fun? Yeah, I kind of did. But still, just look at this and tell me you can process what the hell is going on.
I could watch this all day long.
Did I have a stroke?
It's cheap.
This game only comes with 8 wrestlers, no unlockables, and also only 2 game modes. The first is your usual one-on-one, with needing 2 out of 3 rounds to win and move on. Eventually you'll hit the endurance matches, where you need to face 2 at a time, and the difficulty is just ludicrous at this point. The other mode has you facing 2 opponents in every single match, just in case you haven't got enough masochism.
I feel like that one was a direct attack at me, and I feel very offended.
There's not much else to talk about. The music isn't there outside of renditions of each wrestler's entrance music that plays when you lose and go back to the character selection. Of course I'm not playing that for copyright reasons. That's why this review is using Genesis tunes instead. Much like using NES Star Wars music for my review of Star Wars Battlefront 2004. There's a multiplayer option if you have someone to play with. I don't, as per usual, as I'm all alone, and all it is either you can fight each other or work together against the AI. At the end of the day, WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game, is a game well worth playing. But it will become tiresome after a while given its bipolar AI, fast-paced action, and lack of content. Especially the pain you'll be feeling in your thumb. It's an average game with a few hiccups, but plenty of fun to be had. If there were unlockable wrestlers to increase the roster a bit to at least to about 12, could have been even better. Also more modes to play with, like a normal versus mode where we can pick who to fight. Still, you could do worse. You could always play WWF Attitude for the Sega Dreamcast. Go check out that review after this. Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.
The total package is back, Superman! Go Lex Luger! It's your birthday! It's your birthday! It's your birthday!
You can't catch lightning in a bottle twice. That's why there never has been a game like Twilight Princess or Skyrim ever again. Your magnum opus is your peak, and only after can you fall. WWF In Your House is a second attempt at capturing the magic and joy of WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game, of which, of course, it failed to do so.
What's he gonna do? That's nowhere near perfect.
This game is worse than WrestleMania the arcade game in many of ways, of which I'll gladly detail inside the review section. But just know, I attempted to scrap this project several times within the same day I started it.
You ain't lying.
It wasn't going well, and the game was just so soulless, boring, and frustrating. Coming off of WWF Royal Rumble for Sega Dreamcast, this PlayStation 1 title is a jarring difference in every category. But enough of an introduction, let's just get this video over with so we can move on to greener pastures, hopefully, preferably, with a war zone.
Welcome to In Your House.
Just like WWF WrestleMania the arcade game, this game was developed by Sculptured Software and published by Acclaim Entertainment. Featuring digitized sprites of several wrestlers in an unrealistic fast-paced Mortal Kombat clone-style fighting game. Except, this time, they took you out of the ring in favor of a bunch of random locations, with several wrestlers removed in favor of new ones that basically no one knows of nor cares about. Each stage is themed around every wrestler in the game, such as HBK gets a nightclub and The Undertaker gets a crypt. On top of this, the ridiculous over-the-top attacks and gore return. So watch bones fly out of The Undertaker as you attack him with a bulldog head as the British Bulldog.
Bullseye! What the hell is even that? He didn't know it hit him.
The game somehow controls even worse than WrestleMania. Then again, it just might be because I was playing a much better WWF game just before making this review. That being WWF Royal Rumble. Nothing feels right, and half of the time you can't even pull off anything. As you attempt to attack, you block, or you go running when you wanted to grab your opponent. As for special moves, nothing works at all. I couldn't do anything. So like with any fighting game ever, you just press random buttons and hope for the best before snapping the cartridge / disc in half, realizing you should have booted up a Kirby game instead.
Kirby, that's a name you should know. Kirby, he's the star of the show.
The only pro I can give this game is the combat is fast paced. Too bad it controls poorly, and the AI is cheap as fuck. You're just struggling to comprehend anything, from combos to even basic attacks, to only end up back at square one as you're pinned on the mat, over and over and over and over again.
It's awful.
Things get real bad once you play World Wrestling Federation Championship, or WWFC for short, where you must face 2 opponents at once. Oh, and there's these WWF logo power-ups that spawn into the ring throughout every match. These vary in what they do, but every time I pick one up, it either makes me super slow or makes me dizzy so I can't do anything so my opponent can beat me to death. Dear God, is this unbalanced trash.
What was he thinking? There's one for the record books.
Just fucking, you know? I ain't give a shit. It's a fucking show.
They removed a few wrestlers in this game in favor of alternatives, like the new additions of Owen Hart, the British Bulldog, Goldust, Ahmed Jackson, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, aka Triple H, Vader, and the Ultimate Warrior.
You can feel it, dude!
So goodbye to Razor Ramon, Bam Bam Bigelow, Yokozuna, Doink the Clown, and Lex Luger.
Yeah! The total package is back, Superman! Go, Lex Luger! It's your birthday! It's your birthday! It's your birthday!
Honestly, I don't even remember the British Bulldog or Goldust, let alone Ahmed Jackson. Vader, I think I might, but otherwise, man, what a meh roster of characters. They also all play the same, with the only difference being their moves, gore, and fantasy attacks. Otherwise, not a single character feels different from the others. It's just reskins, really.
Gay, totally gay.
While the game is a sequel to WWF WrestleMania, it doesn't offer anything new. The gameplay is the same, but worse. The roster is a joke. Also, there's no real new modes. You only have one new addition, but it's just the same thing as Intercontinental Championship.
Of course!
This mode is WWF Season, where you just face everyone like normal, and that's it. Honestly, what a waste of resources. This was a total cash grab of a game. They didn't even attempt to improve or add anything, unlike WWE Smackdown series or Smackdown vs. Raw games, where they do change things and add things too.
Oh, bitch.
I don't know. Something about the art just feels off, alongside the audio quality. I mean, looking at the two games side by side, I still feel like WrestleMania looks better, simply because of the darker sprites work better on a brighter background, like wrestling ring, than some random crypt or nightclub or gym. Also, the audio was a bit choppy. Not sure what the cause of that was. I'll just blame the game and move on.
Move along.
Move along.
There's barely any content here because of the lack of new modes and wrestlers. I was bored within the first 5 minutes of my playtime. Where's the content, Acclaim? Alright, you rushed this out the door to put all your casino chips on Turok 1 for Nintendo 64 coming later on. Well, that didn't help you out much, did it, bitch? You went bankrupt.
Welcome to the new WWF generation. Welcome to In Your House. We are live. Not a good idea.
Honestly, if you want to play this kind of game, just play the first one. WWF WrestleMania is just better. It's got a better roster and was first. In Your House is just an imitator attempting to cash grab your money, time, and life.
That's what keeps the Grim Reaper at bay.
Tonight in the squared circle, Yokozuna versus Yokozuna.
At the end of the day, WWF In Your House is a garbage game that attempted to capture lightning in a bottle twice, but only ended up getting turned into a steaming pile of burnt, smoldering, charred, pitch black shit forever caked into the pavement of a local Walmart shopping center.
Man, poetry's powerful stuff.
This is easily one of the worst fighting games and wrestling games I've ever played. And I've played WWF Attitude for Dreamcast and WWE 2K24 on PC during a free weekend. It's clear Acclaim was just desperate to make some money before they went belly up.
Circle of life.
To which all I can say is good riddance to the THQ before THQ, who was the Embracer Group before the Embracer Group. Anyways, that's it for this video. I need to find something actually good to make a review on. I'm tired of all this negativity and bad games. I do fear other WWF games on the PlayStation 1. I already know Attitude will suck since I did a video on the Dreamcast version back in June. I do remember Smackdown 2, Know Your Role fondly. I never did play War Zone or Smackdown 1. But still, hopefully tomorrow we'll have something actually worth playing, which may or may not be related to this review. Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later. If I haven't gone insane from all these bad games. Well, after the disaster that was WWF In Your House, I thought it was time to check out War Zone and see if it's any good, since I never heard of it till my 20s, and once I learned it was a prequel to WWF Attitude, I just had to review it now. I mean, it can't be worse than Attitude, right? Right?
Something much worse.
Yeah, this game is even worse. I guess they really did improve for the sequel, since I cannot for the life of me comprehend this game's controls, and I've grown up with the original Resident Evil trilogy of games.
Picture perfect.
Just imagine the worst controlling wrestling game ever made. That's 3D and looks like something Beetlejuice would mock.
No, it's DMT, I think.
This game has so many issues that I think this might be my most colorful review yet.
Progressive.
So let's just get this abomination over with so I can hopefully play a good game. I'm starting to go insane here. We'll start out with Create a Wrestler. For a first, you'd probably expect the worst. To which, you're right.
Yay!
This game has such a lackluster creation mode that there's no support for females. Yet they included the ability to select gender, but it's only male.
That's sexist!
Exactly. I believe in equal rights, equal fights. So let me smash a steel chair into a woman's skull, damn it.
Based.
To make matters worse,
Nice, how much worse can things get around here?
you cannot use the color black.
Racist.
So good luck making anyone you know. For example, I cannot make Charlie and Muta properly in this game. Like, seriously?
Do I look like a happy camper to you? Didn't think so.
So yeah, if you have black hair or like black clothes, you're fucked.
That is fucked, man. This is actually fucked. Are you guys putting the pieces together?
I couldn't make a decent moist critical or some ordinary gamers even if I tried. So I just settled with making Asmongold, which surprisingly wasn't that hard. Just get a tall skinny guy with a white shirt, basic pants, a beard, and barely any hair, and there you go.
Yes. How could I have ever possibly expected that? How could anyone have ever come to this conclusion just randomly? Wow.
Later down the line, after playing versus mode, and it wasn't good, I decided it was best to at least attempt to make Charlie and Muta, plus the average Asmongold viewer. Of course, there isn't any cat ear headphones, so we have to settle with a weird mask, which is still very fitting for Asmongold's fucked up community.
You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. There it is.
For our Charlie, it was a tough battle with the right shade. You can't ever go dark enough to match the right color you want, or bright enough. Plus, each hair has its own shades of colors you can use, if any options at all.
Ah, you know what? This sucks! And then now you're saying it too.
So after making We Have Penguin Z0 at home, I attempted to make Mutahar, which ended up looking like a generic black guy with a red shirt. Poor Muta won't last long driving a car in the US. After wasting almost 20 whole fucking minutes in Create a Wrestler, it's time to finally cover this game's terrible controls.
Ah, boy, here we go.
No matter what buttons you press, your character will never really do what you want. If you attempt to pin your opponent while they're down, you'll just grab at the air 99.9% of the time. It's so painful!
Just the tip!
Having to use the L1 and R1 button to enter a name during Create a Wrestler.
What?
Having to figure out what button or combo tags in your tag team partner, but never fucking does.
And they tire. The Undertaker up close and personal with the match.
Tag me, come on, tag me in, Zach. Come on, let's go. Choo choo, bow, choo, come on.
The crowd is on its feet. Player one.
Come on, tag me in, damn it. Trying to figure out how the fuck do you turn around and climb down the cage in a cage match?
I can wait here while you change.
Ha ha!
And let's not forget, I do keep that big iron on me. And these pythons?
Nope.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg, and my arm, even my fingers. The body I've lost. The comrades I've lost. Won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you? I'm gonna make them give back our past.
Trying to grab your opponent, but a weapon is nearby, so instead, you pick it up, and then they hit you and you drop it.
What's up with this crowd? You're loving it. Oh, that got his attention.
I know you told your friend you're not okay.
The combat itself is very clunky. And I mean Resident Evil 1 1996 knife combat kinds of clunky. Half of the time when I use my attacks, they never register or miss my opponents, but they can hit me without issue. Even when they're just standing there, I will occasionally miss, then they sucker punch me with one hit and I'm down for the count. Attempting to pull off any moves besides the very few available is near impossible. No matter what buttons I press, I only ever do the same two moves over and over and over and over again, depending on which character's moveset I'm using. Meanwhile, the AI can use all kinds of fucking moves that I cannot.
Bullshit!
Speaking of bullshit, let's cover the 4 main game modes available. While there's also challenge mode, there's no reason to cover what is essentially just another version of versus mode, which I'll cover instead. Versus mode is your standard one-on-one match. The traditional rules apply here, so no weapons and ring out is a thing. Your goal is to weaken your opponent enough to have enough time to pin them before they can recover. Your health bar starts out green, fades into yellow, orange, and then red. Kind of like Resident Evil. But here, your goal isn't to survive the horrors of padding and backtracking. Instead, it's to survive the horrors of bad fighting game controls. This was my first experience with the gameplay and combat. Let me tell you, it's so god-awful I lack the vocabulary to express just how heinous it feels. While I tend to exaggerate things here and there in some of my reviews, especially since I'm a schizo with bipolar depression,
Actually, it would explain a lot.
so I'm swinging left and right, flailing around like a mad dog, like a game of Yakuza. But there's no exaggeration here of this game, it's just fucking shit. Grapples, body slams, punches and kicks, all being so off-putting with slight input delay. I'm using a wired controller too, so there's no excuse for input delay of any kind. While it's not really noticeable, it's just slightly there, that it gets annoying after a fucking while.
But close. Player one, you have to work harder than that.
Using square to kick, triangle to punch, X to block. Yes, it's called X and not cross, fuck off. And circle for grabs and throws. Everything feels so awkward and unintuitive.
What a big word.
This match went on for about almost 5 minutes before I just gave up and said fuck it, I'm done.
1, 2, 3.
And that's it. Nice fucking model.
Like I said earlier, regarding tagging your teammate is near impossible. I was getting tossed around like an SO in prison.
The wood chipper!
My partner kept reaching out to me, but no buttons would ever work. I tried every face button and shoulder buttons.
He's on his feet. That was slick. The Undertaker losing steam now.
Just nothing would fucking work. It was pure agony. I wanted to stop playing altogether and bury this game out back and say, rest in peace.
Jesus Christ!
So, I just did what I could, as Undertaker and Shawn Michaels took turns beating Asmongold to a bloody pulp. Which was actually entertaining, not gonna lie.
Here they go. What a reversal. Where'd that come from?
My creature's the Tonight will feast upon the flesh of your rivals.
Player 1 is in trouble now. He needs to make a tag.
Eventually, I just said fuck it, set my controller down, got a drink of zero sugar Pepsi, and thought about what kind of pizza sounds good for this evening.
That was slick. The best tag team in the sport.
Cage match should have been fun. Instead, it was just frustrating.
Whoa, just take it easy, man.
I could never smash my opponent into the cage. Unlike when they did it to me, no combination of buttons allows me to fling them or push them into it.
Picture perfect.
Also, like I said earlier, it was a pain in the ass just trying to get up the damn wall. It's easier to get past the US border wall than this. Not that I would know or anything.
Let me see your work visa, son.
I'm white, so it's okay. Anyways, your goal is just to escape the cage. Even though I thought I could knock out my opponent instead, that wasn't the case.
Steve is getting the worst of this one.
Even though I did beat Stone Cold to a pulp, he still got up like it was nothing. Now, while that may seem normal for Stone Cold, as it's just another day at the office for Stone Cold, it's also total bullshit, as I ended up losing the match due to shitty controls. Oh god, it's WWF Attitude all over again on Dreamcast.
Shit the fuck!
My favorite match type in any wrestling game has always been hardcore. As it's called here, weapons. Yeah, what a lame name for a shit game.
Poetry?
At least in this mode, I started to finally get a hold of this game's mechanics. It's still god-awful, but at least I was starting to actually make progress. Though, there were moments where it wasn't as easy, like I said back during the controls segment, while grabbing weapons instead of your opponent just cause you're near one. Thankfully, it's an easy fix. Just beat your opponent till they're far enough to grab the weapon and smash it into them.
You get a hammer and you go up.
There's a decent amount of weapons, like steel chairs, TVs, tables, bells, and a bottle? Whatever. PS1 graphics and all. I did like the bell though.
Mankind is out. This is
I like how the computer chose Mankind for this match type. What a perfect fit given it's Mick Foley. Then again, Mick Foley has many personas like Mankind, Cactus Jack, and Dude Love.
Would you like to know more?
It's a rather decent mode, just cause I like beating people with weapons in games. It's a classic way of fighting. After all, I'm sure some of you out there grew up with Double Dragon on the NES, let alone Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time on the SNES. By the way, check out those TMNT reviews. I'm still pissed those things completely flopped.
He ain't lying.
Anyways, this was the only mode I was able to win. After this, I just stopped and watched Asmongold clips to de-stress from yet another bad game. Why do I keep finding bad games? Why is it always bad games? I just want to play something fun. Fuck.
2, 3.
Just you wussy.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And when the imposter is safe. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Like a lot of these wrestling games I've been playing, this game has some nasty audio quality. Sometimes it's too quiet or too loud. There's also a lot of static and audio clipping. Now I know I'm using a $12 microphone for a little over a year now, but even my audio isn't as bad as this game's. Warning headphone users. You cannot pick your opponents in any mode. Every mode, your opponent is randomly selected by the computer, and I never once had it pick any created wrestlers. So much for having Asmongold and his fanboy team up against Dollar Tree Charlie and Family Dollar Mudahar.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Every time you start up the game, it takes roughly 30 seconds to boot up. It also takes roughly 30 seconds to load into a match, and about 10 or more back to the main menu after the match. That adds up over time and becomes a total chore. I get it's a disc-based game, so it loaded slower than a cartridge, but god damn is it annoying!
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Get on with it.
We're waiting.
Like I said earlier, control-wise, this game just sucks. I hate the creative menu design. It's so clunky and frustrating having your controls switch around depending on which menu you're in, like using L1 and R1 for entering a name, or slowly swinging the cube around during character selection before a match, plus the elevator animations eating up more time when you just want to get into a section of the menu to progress your gameplay. It's just so
Relax.
There's another game mode called Royal Rumble, but it's exclusive to the Nintendo 64 version of this game.
Son of a bitch!
So yep, all 16 wrestlers compete to win the mode. Too bad it's a technical complication for the PS1. Also, too bad it would have been garbage given the game's controls. So thankfully, it was spared in this review. And no, I will not be reviewing the Nintendo 64 version of this game. I'm basically done with the N64, given its god-awful controller.
True.
At the end of the day, I cannot recommend this trash game. Like seriously, it's worse than WWF Attitude, and that game was ordered crap. I guess this really is the precursor to Attitude, cause man oh man does everything about it just suck, from the bad controls to the fugly graphics. Not to mention the worst creative wrestler I've ever seen in a game, and I've played the M. Dickey games back in the day when they were free. This game has no redeeming qualities, not the music, the auto quality, creative wrestler, stupid fun, match types, nothing. Nothing in the pro section. It's just cons upon cons upon cons upon cons to the point you might as well call this the Wall Street of overall sections of my reviews.
Oh damn!
I fear the PS1 port of WWF Attitude. If it controlled poorly on Dreamcast, just imagine how badly it plays on the PS1. Especially given that the PS1 controller originally never had analog sticks. When I get to it, I will get to it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel so I can continue to grow. I'm tired of making all these videos and for them to go unnoticed. Like a one-sided, loveless relationship attempting to be saved.
Man, poetry's powerful stuff.
Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later. If I'm still mentally capable of functioning outside of a padded fucking cell.
Insane in the membrane.
I will
So, after taking a short break from reviewing bad wrestling games, it's time to review one of the last 3 WWF games for the PlayStation 1.
Oh, don't waste my time! Your poodle butt couldn't handle a vicious dog like myself!
This is WWF Attitude, developed and published by Acclaim. Oh god, this is gonna suck. I've already covered this game back in June on the Sega Dreamcast, so why am I covering it again? Simple. I need to, in order to make the compilation of every WWF game on PS1. So will my complaints from the Dreamcast version carry over to the PS1?
Probably.
Well, we won't know till we get this game into the ring. We'll start out with one of the most important things in a wrestling game, which is create a wrestler mode. Here we can make all kinds of people, from YouTubers to streamers to cartoon characters and maybe even real life. Because there's nothing more fun for me than creating people in games and making their lives a living hell.
Well, now we're getting into some deep shit. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Also, what? What? What?
So let's just say I did indeed, as per usual, create Charlie, Muta, and Zach in the game.
Absolutely. Yep.
Of course, not only did I make some decent versions of them, I also made other YouTubers as well. We'll get to them in a minute, as I wanted to show off my Charlie. And no, that is not a code word for anything.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
This is Charlie, the best we can get in this game due to not being able to really sculpt the character's face nor body. We can only pick presets of eyes, mouths, noses, hair, facial hair, and body type. We can also adjust stats to make wrestlers more strong, let alone more nimble. Since Charlie is rather small yet got some sick muscle, I made him more charismatic and fast. I gave him Shawn Michaels for his identity, because Charlie is definitely a sexy boy.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with a cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it.
Overall, I think I made a decent looking Florida Jesus, though I do wish we could adjust height in this game.
Like, that is it. Like, it's about as, like, lowbrow as those 3 farts. Like, my little ass trumpet right there is about how deep that video went.
For Muta, I did a better job than in War Zone, as he looks more like himself and a lot less like a generic black guy. Given Muta is more of a tank guy, no offense my Canadian Indian friend, he's given more strength and less flexibility for stats, and he's more so based on Stone Cold at first, but later on I came back to fix him and Zach, making Muta more based on Mark Henry. But his intro was still Stone Cold for a bit. Next up, we have to make Asmongold. We can't have a complete adventure without Charlie, Muda, and Zack.
Yep.
So here we can see I made a very accurate Asmongold. Skinny, raggedy clothes, and lacking head hair.
So it wasn't funny. Yeah, like, why don't you just not do this?
He's weak in stats, but mix it up in terms of charisma. After all, anyone who can say, "It is what it is," and never lose his audience to him only ever saying the same shit over and over again must have high charisma stats.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So here's his intro. I feel like this song fits him, don't you?
You can be my plaything. I can be your toy. Just because I'm skinny, I can't be your safe boy.
Next up, let's speed things up and just say I also made Civvy11, hashtag Free Civvy, G-Man Lives, Scott the Waz, Angry Joe Show, JD Delay, who's new around here on my channel, and Asmongold's average viewer.
You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. There it is.
Overall, the calm mode is lacking, but is a step in the right direction after playing WWF War Zone. I can at the least have more options in terms of colors, making sure I'm a bit more accurate to those I'm trying to make. One thing that sucks is we cannot place multiple tattoos on wrestlers, so JD Delay, being all tatted up in real life, can't be represented here. You can also make females for those who want divas, as they used to be called, but otherwise that's it in terms of create a wrestler. Basic, doable, a little restrictive and lackluster in some areas, but overall just fine. So let's move on already and talk about the controls and combat.
Finally! Yeah!
The controls are a little less clunky on PS1 given there's more buttons to play with. As such, I found after a few matches it was actually quite decent, albeit still a little bit clunky. It's a massive improvement over WWF War Zone at the least.
Player 2 is out of it! Come on, get up!
The control layout is pretty similar, as they decided X is block, square is kick, triangle is punch, and circle is grapple. Then you have R2 for run, R1 for sidestep, L1 to switch target, and L2 for climbing in and out of the ring and on top of the ropes, and the D-pad for all movement. Though this is just the basics, there's more complex button combos needed to pull off moves like body slams and finishers, which does suck as these inputs require you to scatter your fingers all over your controller like a meth head in order to pull off anything.
What do you think of the dog now?
Otherwise, you won't do what you want and your character will just stand there or do something counterintuitive.
Just like that. Stomp him! Smart move there.
For example, here's a combo needed to pull off the body slam. You need to stand near your opponent, then quickly press left, left, triangle. But if you're not fast enough and your opponent hits you, your button combo is cancelled. Plus, they're probably already going to grab you to slam you instead, as the AI will not sit around and wait for you to do your taxes.
And they tie up. Player 4 is just manhandling player 1.
Playing on medium/normal difficulty, the AI does put up a good fight. Some wrestlers are more of a challenge than others, so depending on your stats and theirs, you may or may not be in for a good time.
They tie up. King, these people are blowing the roof off this joint. They should be chanting, "Idiot! Idiot!" Nice execution.
Given the game has way too many modes and variations, I'll just cover the single player ones and only a few of them. Lazy! We'll start out with your traditional match, versus mode, where we can select 2 people to fight. Then we can set up other rules to make it a hardcore match, change the ring, etc. Versus mode is all about pinfall or knockout if enabled. Also, ring out is a thing, so don't stay out to the count of 10 or you lose.
This is gonna be quick.
Overall, a fun mode. You can't beat the classics, but honestly, I want more. I want more chaos and bodies piling up. Therefore, we need to check out Tag Team Match.
Oh, don't waste my time. Your poodle butt couldn't handle a vicious dog like myself.
Tag Team has you choosing a partner and 2 others to fight. I also made this match a hardcore one, cause I love beating people with weapons.
Good lord! That knocked him into next week. Come on, get up!
The controls are a little finicky as to be expected from an older title. As such, you have to use L1 and circle to grab a weapon. Now that doesn't sound so bad till you remember that your target switch and grapple buttons. So most of the time you switch targets and get your ass handed to you, let alone grapple at your opponent, and you have to be quick to mash buttons in hopes that you're the one who hurts them instead of you.
And they tie up. Player 4 is just manhandling player 1.
Or worse, you could be squeezed to death by a wrestler way larger than you. I mean, the average Asmon Gold viewer is quite the size difference from Moist Critical.
Player 1, you rock. Cut! Off the ropes!
The mode is loads of fun once you start to get the controls down, and overall I'd say it's one of the best I've played for this review, which isn't much, but enough to know what I'll rank this game.
Oh, slammage!
1, 2, 3. You can be my plaything. I can be your toy. Just because I'm skinny, I can't be your sick boy.
What the fuck? Can't people accept me for the person I am? I've got sugar in my blood!
Lumberjacking is a tough life. I wrestle in my free time for relaxation.
Triple Threat has 3 people in the ring fighting for supremacy, having 3 wrestlers going at each other, forming temporary alliances to go after another guy. Mostly the player, as the AI will tag team you before turning on each other.
Close quarters!
You can win by various factors, but the way I lost was submission. Turns out being a Nintendo virgin doesn't mean you're a capable fighter.
Did you see that?
Overall an okay mode, but nothing special. There is another mode similar called Triangle.
100% organic, no additives or preservatives. You're gonna squeal like a pig on Ham Thursday. This is gonna be quick.
In this mode, you have 3 wrestlers duking it out to win the match. To win, you just need to get a submission. It's literally the same thing as Triple Threat under a different name, so why is it here? Kind of a waste of resources. Should have put it in Casket Match, or Buried Alive or something instead.
Size does matter. Size does matter. Size does matter. Ouch! That's not very.
Anyways, this mode went on for the whole timer. JD Delay won by default because he had the most health. Therefore, it's a most damage win.
And the collision. There's attitude for you, Shane. Just like that. Stomp him. Let's get it on. Player 2 got the worst of that one. Shit the fuck!
Now for one of the most iconic match types in wrestling history, besides the match type where they spit roast your mom, that is.
Owned again!
You have 30 wrestlers duking it out to be the king of the ring by eliminating wrestlers in a chaotic match that takes a very, very long time to complete. Even more so here since for some reason, Acclaim, boo, makes lame, decided to force the player to play as whoever comes into the ring once you've been eliminated.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, so let's just say I entered the ring as Charlie. Once I got eliminated, the next wrestler to join the ring will be controlled by the player and not the CPU. Yep, you cannot just watch wrestlers duke it out, unlike in later wrestling games.
Player 4 has as much future as an ice cube. Locked up. Player 2 seeing star. He's falling and he can't get up.
But that issue aside, it was a fun time till the performance issues kicked in. I'll cover that more later in its own section of the other chapter of this review.
Okay. Back up.
Performance issues and having to play as one of the 4 wrestlers in the ring on top of the match taking forever led me to getting bored, so I just ended up quitting the match so I could try out the rest of these modes instead.
Personal. It's just business. This crowd is crazy. They don't want this match to end. That was pathetically so.
Pussy.
I can carry anyone. I am the whole damn show. This mad dog ain't gonna take any crap from anybody. Or in 360s or geek.
A cage match has you fighting an opponent in the ring, smashing each other into the cage wall, and once your opponent is down, you can attempt to climb the wall. Except here, nothing ever worked for me, much like WWF War Zone. No combination of buttons allowed me to climb down the wall.
Player 1 starts climbing the cage. Where's that idiot going, Shane? That's the way to do it. Nice move there by player 2. Locking horns. Pure power. Let's get you. I hope he falls off. He's going to the top of the cage here. Where's that idiot going, Shane? Good night. You got him down? Kick him. Oh, yeah.
So instead of trying to win the match, I just started wailing on Muta, Zack, and Kane.
Player 3 is out of it. Hit him. Oh.
Eventually the timer ran out and Kane won by most damage. Yeah, that fucking sucked. The last mode I played was King of the Ring. Now this one is pretty simple.
It is? Really?
You have a tournament tree. It must face opponents you've selected through each match till only 2 are left for the final match. Whoever wins is King of the Ring.
This mad dog ain't gonna take any crap from anybody!
I've got more dangerous stuff than you pulling out of my colon!
The matches are simple versus mode style rules. You gotta pin them by depleting their health and getting a 3-count pinfall. The tension comes from being eliminated and having to see someone else claim the title you're working hard for. Thankfully, I was having an easy time at this point with the controls, leading Muta to destroy Civi 11.
Player 1 is omnipotent! Can I get a witness on that? Good night, get up!
1, 2, 3.
Then I completely destroyed Charlie.
And here they go! What athleticism! Oh yeah, it's over! Hurry, get up!
1, 2, 3.
Finally, we had to fight Asmongold's fan base, which wasn't hard as they need a constant supply of Coca-Cola and $2 sticks to keep their energy levels up. So wearing them down was pretty easy.
He's staggering around! Trouble's brewing, Shane!
1, 2, 3.
So we're gonna just basically use the magic power of editing to get my ass over there and see this little boy. Ain't nobody want you around. Not even your parents want you. What's wrong with you?
Overall, a fun little mode that I would actually say is probably the second best one overall.
I'm not fat, I'm big boned!
There are 3 major technical problems with this version of WWF Attitude. One of those being audio quality, and again, I get the hypocrisy coming from my channel when it comes to audio quality. It just sounds so god-awful in comparison to the Dreamcast version of this game. For some reason, things are more quiet, and there's also crackling, or popping, or whatever you call it.
I can carry anyone. I am the whole damn show.
This mad dog ain't gonna take any crap from anybody!
Orange 316 says Orange Geek. Mr. Showtime is exactly that!
I'm so excited for this match, I passed up 3 fire hydrants on the way! I've been saving it for you, baby!
The game does suffer from slowdown, so if there's 4 wrestlers in a ring, expect some slowdown. Otherwise, if it's a Royal Rumble match, expect a lot of stuttering lag as well. Oh god, was this unbearable.
Not so good, huh? Not so good.
The last issue with this game is bad load times. Nothing new for the PlayStation 1 really. The new disc format came with a lot of pros, such as storing more data, especially for cutscenes and the like. This meant Final Fantasy was PlayStation timed exclusive for a while. Nintendo never recovered from losing to Square Enix in that regards. It gave Sony a massive edge with Final Fantasy VII, but also cause Tifa's massive wreck.
Boingy, 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 boingy.
So yeah, this game has bad load times. Even saving and loading from the memory card, it takes forever. Loading screens can either be quick as 30 seconds or as long as 2 whole fucking minutes. Graphically, Dreamcast is superior. Control-wise, the PlayStation 1 version comes out on top. Performance-wise, Dreamcast has the edge, as I never encountered any long loading screens nor frame dips. But like I said before in a lot of my reviews, if the game controls bad, then it's a bad game. End of story. You cannot have a great game with the worst controls imaginable at the same time. So whichever version you pick, just know of the cons to each one. Now let's wrap up this video.
It's about time!
At the end of the day, WWF Attitude is a mediocre game that I can recommend. It's nothing special nor terrible. It's playable unlike War Zone, WWF Raw, and WWF Super WrestleMania. Though this version does have technical problems with bad load times, frame rate issues, and slowdown.
We get it.
Yet, it does also control better than the Dreamcast version. Whichever version you play, just know it's an okay game. But the PS1 has graphical performance problems over the Dreamcast, which has worse controls. Honestly, I'm glad I played this version.
Say what?
I went in expecting the worst of the worst, but was pleasantly surprised when it turned out to be just okay. With only 2 more games to go, those being WWF Smackdown and WWF Smackdown 2, Know Your Role, which I actually grew up playing a lot. I even watched my dad play that game a lot since he had the PS1 in the living room, while I had my Nintendo 64 in my room. I'll get to them in due time, but for now, anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.
Orange 360 says orange geek.
We're approaching the end of yet another journey, folks. With 2 WWF games left for the PlayStation 1, we're going to finally tackle WWF Smackdown by Ukes and published by THQ in the year 2000. Oh, come on. 2000 was only 24 years ago. Jesus H. Christ, I need a beer.
That was a long time ago.
Anyways, WWF Smackdown is a game I never played. In fact, I never played any WWF games for the PS1 outside of Smackdown 2 Know Your Role when I was a kid. It wasn't until I started this journey of reviewing every WWF game for the PS1 and Sega Genesis that I get a chance to play the other 5 known games. So enough talk. We got a lot of complaining to do about this one.
Oh boy, here we go.
For WWF Smackdown, has some neat ideas, but lacking in depth and overall quality. For being Yuke's first WWF game, it really, 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 really shows. We'll start off with our usual chapter of Create a Wrestler, except in this game, you cannot really do much. Coming off of Attitude, you'd expect more or about the same, right?
Well, yeah, but...
Instead of having the ability to pick a face, hair, facial hair, eyes, nose, etc. like you could in Attitude, you instead can only pick a preset head, torso, and legs.
Wait, what?
Yeah, this means you have no in-depth customization unlike in Attitude. Plus, this also means you have to use the heads, torsos, and legs of all the superstars and divas. So you want to make anyone you know? Well, you can't. You have to basically use the head of Stone Cold with the torso of China and the legs of Kane. That's the literal amount of customization you have. It's that bad. Like, holy fucking shit. How is it this awful?
It's just bad.
This means I cannot make Charlie, Muda, or Zack.
Ah, you know what? This sucks. And then now you're saying it too.
Exactly, my Gollum stunt double.
What the fuck?
I couldn't make anyone or anything. I just randomly selected parts and then gave them dumb names. I made a prostitute T-Rex, a gay robot referee, and a Florida man grandpa. That's all I could do with this, without using real wrestlers' parts.
And then I gotta be like, I gotta have a joke there.
It gets even worse when you realize this game doesn't have unique entrances, as everyone just walks in place with a copyrighted video playing in the background. So you have even less customization than Attitude right there. Also, no voices are in the game. It's silent, outside of the music playing, crowd cheering, and sound effects. I absolutely hate this. Why did they even bother to include such a lackluster, shallow piece of shit mode? It's even worse than WWF War Zone. They should have just canned it in favor of making this gameplay better.
Wow, walked right into that one.
Unlike Attitude, the controls are not much of a mess. It's more arcade-like, and I enjoy that to an extent, which I'll go more over in the combat section next. But for your button inputs, everything is pretty well placed without needing to swap to different layouts in the options. X is punch, and yes, it's called X and not cross, damn it. I'm old and I will never accept change.
Damn straight.
Square is block, triangle is your run button, circle does your grapples, R1 is to climb the ropes, enter and exit the ring and pick up weapons, L1 is your finisher with L2 being your target changer. The game also plays best using a D-pad and not your left analog stick. Save that for the bedroom.
Wait, what?
Now, onto the combat and its arcade goodness. This game has a better grapple system. It's easier to pull off moves on your opponent, unlike the Genesis games, and unlike Attitude, where it felt more like you just had to mash random buttons in hopes of doing anything. Much like the Genesis games. The movement feels pretty fluid and fast-paced. You have to be ready to strike and counter as the AI won't hold back. The game is very arcade-like, but not as punishing as WrestleMania the arcade game is. It's satisfying body slamming your opponent non-stop. However, this is where the cons come in.
You got something to say. Just say it.
There's not much for the combat, as you will just pull off the same exact moves over and over again. Now, while you may think that's normal, as each wrestler has their own movesets like any fighting game, And while that is true,
go on.
The problem here is everyone just uses the same exact moves, no matter who it is. I gave each of my 3 custom wrestlers a different move set, yet they just do the same moves. Now you may think, that sounds like you need to press different buttons for different results. To which is sadly not the case, as even the AI will just do the same moves over and over and over and over again, as your cars do. There's a whopping 32 wrestlers included in this game, featuring the 1999 lineup. You can see everyone in the video on screen, but I'll name a few. Triple H, Undertaker, Kane, Stone Cold, the Hardy Brothers, Shane McMahon, X-Pac, The Rock, Big Show, Chyna, Edge, Gangrel, Steve Blackman. Huh.
No. But you're right.
So,
is this really the first time you've had this conversation?
Also Mankind, Mark Henry, Paul Bear, and Vince McMahon. Not a bad lineup with a good amount of legends. Does suck there's not much in the way of divas, but it is a different time with only 3 in game. But whatever. Overall, I like a lot of these wrestlers. Does suck they couldn't include any classic wrestlers like Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior though. Now onto the game modes and how they play in comparison to other games I've reviewed so far. We'll cover the traditional bunch of one-on-one, tag team, hardcore, cage match, and Royal Rumble. Now why only these few? Because the game isn't worthy of fully covering, and I doubt anyone wants to hear me bitch for roughly 50 minutes.
True that. Now that's true, Brandon.
So when it comes to setting up a match, it's a bit clunky as the UI is all over the place. Not sure what it wants to be. You select side to side to which mode you want. Then you select the player by pressing differently on the D-pad. Choose your wrestler in a very slow up and down manner on the D-pad, and finally select some settings like ring out, the arena, ring mat, etc.
You're right, it is oddly clunky and expositional.
Once in game, however, you'll find yourself dealing with yet more clunky controls.
God's sake.
There's no referee or commentary in the game either, which is a strange change from Attitude. I mean, that game didn't have a ref. Only the 2D games on Genesis did outside of WrestleMania, the arcade game. So instead of having any real information on what's going on and waiting to hear all types of jibber jabber.
Jibber jabber oh, jibber jabber oh.
Sorry.
You just hear the crowd's never-ending few-second loop of cheering, the sound effects, and random rock music. Your goal in a traditional wrestling match is just to pin your opponent, which is easy once you get used to the controls, as just trying to grab your opponent can cause you to pin them instead of picking them off the mat, or trying to body slam them. It's a functional match type that does suck you can't beat a ref to get away from illegal moves and using weapons, however. Relying on the AI to have your back is very much as irresponsible as it was in Super WrestleMania for the Genesis.
Now
that really pisses me off to no end.
Fuck you!
They won't bother to really help you in the tag team match. In fact, I was getting pinned non-stop after being body slammed non-stop. Getting destroyed by two wrestlers as my partner just stood there wasn't really fun. Heck, I even tried to tag my partner in, but instead the game made me punch him, making the poor bastard go flying. It's a fun mode, but damn, don't hope for the AI to do anything for you.
2, 3 count fall.
My favorite match type is always hardcore. Give me a steel chair and someone's skull to crack, and I'll be a happy man. Of course, it took a minute to get used to the controls, as grabbing a weapon can make you get out of the ring or back in if you want something outside of it. This also caused issues, as I wanted to climb back into the ring, but instead I was grabbing different weapons from under the ring. Weapon combat can be a bit clunky and off, but it's an overall fun mode, just brutalizing people with different weapons over and over again. I mean, come on, how can you go wrong with hardcore? Even War Zone had it, and it wasn't the worst thing ever, and I fucking hated War Zone. I did like the bell though. One of the best match types is cage match. Just smashing people into the cage walls, shaking walls to make them fall from high heights, and brutalizing each other enough for one to have enough time to escape and claim victory. It's a brutal fun time. Though, much like Attitude, I could easily scale the wall, but when it comes to climbing down, I still couldn't do it. Instead, I just drop off back into the ring. Is there a button combination I have to press? I tried down, I tried R1 and down, I tried R1, I tried X, nothing would work. Then, after a brutalizing battle, the match ended abruptly because I was pressing buttons to shake the cage and stop Stone Cold, but logic doesn't care about what I have to say, as Stone Cold said he was going to win the match. The worst Royal Rumble I've ever experienced. That's what this game has to offer. Now, why is it so bad? Well, the key to why it's not a full Royal Rumble. Instead, you have 4 in the ring, and then one comes out after someone gets eliminated, and yes, there's a 4 wrestler limitation, sadly, just like Attitude. Even though this game looks so much worse and came out years later, that's it. That's all that will come out. So instead of your traditional 30-man Royal Rumble, it's just 5 total. There's an annoying static in the audio. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but I can. I mean, I know my channel has audio problems in the past and currently still. But what is going on with the static pop when doing anything in game? Is this normal? It's kind of irritating, to be honest.
No one likes a bipolar clown.
One good thing I'll give WWF Smackdown is the load times are surprisingly fast. In fact, they're faster than Attitude ever could hope for. But when the game looks worse with less content, I guess that just makes sense. The UI is a bit of a clunky mess to navigate, as you have to confirm and move side to side, selecting every one/thing when creating wrestlers or setting up a game. It could be a bit annoying. Honestly, I just hate this UI. I mean, every single other menu looks different, has a different layout, with different controls. It's a complete and utter mess. Who designed it? A meth head?
You really are too picky.
There's always this garage band low quality, muffled trash rock music playing during every match. This gets old real quick, and I highly recommend you turn it off. Seriously, it's just awful. Now, let's be done with this review and move on to the score already. I don't ever want to touch this game again.
He ain't lying.
At the end of the day, WWF Smackdown is a disappointing game. While I wasn't expecting much, especially since I grew up playing its sequel, which is a million times better from what I do remember.
Maybe some people enjoy nostalgia.
You'd think it would at least be better than WWF Attitude by a claim, yet it wasn't. In fact, this game is worse than Attitude.
What?
The lack of content, the controls, the combat, the graphics, the audio quality, and of course the awful creator wrestler mode. WWF Smackdown just made me want to go back and say, sorry Attitude, you were actually pretty average after all in comparison.
I'm sorry. What the f?
I will recommend Smackdown, but only to those who like cock and ball torture. It's a mediocre game that shouldn't be played, but it's doable, just nothing special. Eventually I'll get to the sequel. I just have to wrap up the last Sega Genesis WWF game first, and also the last Sega Dreamcast fishing game. Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.
Is it over?
Well, it's finally time to review the very last WWF game for the PlayStation 1.
Oh my god, no!
After finishing up the last WWF game for Sega Genesis and the last fishing game for the Sega Dreamcast, it's time to get WWF Smackdown 2, Know Your Role, for the PlayStation over with.
Change the channel, Mark!
Yeah, I know, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I have to finish this up to move on to other projects. I'm thinking of stopping all compilations after this to focus on random reviews again like I did earlier in the year. But also because I hate having to make a video on the same thing over and over again. It gets old for me, as it does for you.
I hear that.
So let's jump into WWF Smackdown 2 already and see if it's as good as I remember for when I was a kid, since that was the last time I really played this game. Is nostalgia blinding me? Is this game actually garbage?
Maybe. Probably. Definitely.
We'll start out with Create a Wrestler mode. Thankfully,
Unlike the first SmackDown game, 2 will allow up to 10 creative wrestlers instead of 4. But is that really enough of an improvement? Well, they also included more advanced ways of customization by selecting pieces, recoloring them, and including a new system to change up your stats. So now, you can make powerhouses, flying body slammers, and people who don't know what a safe word is via Roughneck.
Give up!
The con to the improved CAW mode is we don't have much to work with still. They only slightly improved from the first game. I wasn't able to give Charlie a white shirt, instead having to settle with a black one. Same thing for Asmongold.
Oh my god. What the who the fuck was this for? They forgot, maybe it's undecided because the developers haven't figured it out.
Meanwhile, Mudahar was easy to make, but the average Asmongold viewer did hit a snag with the furry mask not being a thing. So I had to just go ahead and make him purdy.
What the fuck?
The last person I made was JD Delay, but they don't have much in the way of tattoos, and you can only have one on your body. So we can actually make something instead of using the actual wrestler's body parts, though that's still an option. What else is there? You can now choose their signs and assign who they're on good terms with or not. But that's about it. Overall, a meh creative wrestler mode.
You really are too picky.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I still say WWF Attitude has the best creative wrestler mode for the PlayStation 1. The controls remain unchanged from SmackDown 1.
Lazy.
Using X to attack, square to block, triangle to run, circle for grapple, D-pad for movement, R1 to grab weapons to get in and out of the ring, on top of the ropes, and of course to switch targets. Which did lead me to suffer a lot. I mean, a lot.
One.
So control-wise, it's still the same and clunky mess. I can't believe I'm saying this, but WWF Attitude might be the best one of the traditional wrestling games for PS1 so far.
What the f?
The combat remains unchanged from this first SmackDown game.
I am shocked! Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
So there's not much to say unless you haven't seen my review for WWF Smackdown.
No! Well, yeah!
So here's a brief summary of what I said before. The combat is very fast-paced and arcade-like. In turn, this means the AI doesn't play around. So get used to being thrown around the ring and matches not lasting longer than about a minute. I feel like I should put a sex joke in there, but nah, I'm more classy than that.
What a load.
So now on to the match types. We'll only cover 7 of them, with some of our usual picks, but also a couple of new ones. We'll start out with your traditional match via one-on-one. Setting up a game is easier than before with much better UI. On top of that, we can choose more rules than before to really tweak each match we play. It's an overall better experience so far, but what about the matches? It's simple fun if you can look past the clunky mechanics. I was having more fun gameplay wise in SmackDown 2 than I was in SmackDown 1. Your standard one-on-one match requires you to pin your opponent, or if you change the rules, maybe even knock them out or make them give up, you name it. It's a fine mode that plays well enough here. Instead of the normal tag team match, this time we'll take a look at the alternative option, the more chaotic fun one called Tornado Tag. This is where teams of 2 are in the ring at the same time, pulling off all kinds of moves together and trying to get a pin while their partner holds off the other guy. It's a fun mode that was so intense, but sadly the lock-on system kept getting in the way. Honestly hated how it would just randomly select who to attack. This made me hit my partner more times than I wanted to. It also gave my opponents the chance to body slam me non-stop. So fuck the lock-on system, cause no matter what, I cannot stop targeting random opponents. It won't let me target who I desire, leaving me open to be always attacked.
You can be my plaything. I can be your toy. Just because I'm skinny, I can't be your sick boy.
My favorite match type in all of wrestling is always hardcore. Where else can I beat a 400-pound, steroid-abusing, 7-foot-tall dude to a bloody pulp with a chair?
You ain't lying.
Just getting to smash all kinds of weapons into your opponents, watching them squirm on the floor in agony, bleeding out. It's just a fun time. I even got to beat Mudahar with a nightstick, which is kind of funny and disturbing in a way.
Bruh.
Hey, don't look at me, Muda. It's Charlie who did it.
Look at me. Do I look crazy to you? I didn't think so.
Having Charlie, Muda, Zach, and JD just brutalize each other in and out of the ring, using each other's favorite weapons against them, which you can set and create a wrestler. This mode is just pure fun. I'll never get sick of hardcore matches. Tables, ladders, chairs, sledgehammers, barbed wire, thumbtacks, C4 explosives, 2x4s, nightsticks, televisions, you name it. All just a good time. Another match type is Hell in a Cell, found under the special category alongside several others, but to keep this review short, I'll only cover a few of them.
It's not about me being lazy.
Hell in the Cell has you in the ring, surrounded by a cage. There's no escape unlike a normal cage match, which we'll get to. Instead, you must pin, knock out, or tap out your opponent with nowhere to run or hide. No weapons, no rules, just one-on-one in a small space. It's a fun match type that I kind of wish we could recreate with Undertaker and Mick Foley incident, where we're on top of the cage and it gives way, but it is what it is. what should have been a fun match type ended up being almost 15 minutes of pure agony. Not only because of the controls, but because of the non-stop loading screens that occur every time a new wrestler jumps into the ring.
Man, this sucks. It's just like, I don't even know what to say.
It's awful.
Thankfully, unlike the first Smackdown game, this one is the full 30 wrestlers, and I like how this game doesn't care about gender. Men and women are allowed in the ring. Awesome seeing China, may she rest in peace, and even Lita, another legend, and a sexy one at that, duke it out in the ring with many other wrestlers. But then the loading times kicked in again. Dear God, this made me almost snap.
I'm off my meds!
Hurry up, it's starting. I don't know what we're in for. I'm a little confused whether this is a comedy or a tragedy. A catastrophe in the end would certainly clear things up. Let's watch.
Hurry it up!
A classic match type thanks to The Undertaker is casket match. Yes, the iconic match is here, and it's not that fun. I mean, it's okay, but you just beat each other till one can be put in the coffin. If they get knocked down while in the coffin, the lid magically appears, and it's a loss for the one inside. Kind of anticlimactic, really. The last match type I'll cover is cage match. Unlike Hell in a Cell, you have the ability to escape this one, and it is the way you win. All the while trying to knock down your opponent long enough in the hopes of having enough time to climb the wall and escape. The tension is there, leading you to scramble for the cage wall, hoping to shake it enough for your opponent to fall and get hurt, then pound them till they don't get up for a while, and attempt to escape for yourself. This match is always fun. Except when the controls are a pain. I'll never forgive you, WWF War Zone cage match. One of the worst aspects of this game, when it comes to technical stuff, is always the load times. It's just a PlayStation 1 tradition to have bad load times,
It was the con of the console generation due to discs not being that good as a cartridge. The Nintendo 64 had better load times, but way less capacity for data than a standard disc. So there was always that con of disc-based games. In WWF Smackdown 2 Know Your Role, these load times are annoying as they occur every single time when you start a match, win a match, and navigate the menus, let alone choose to save your data.
Oh my God!
Like Smackdown 1, there's audio poppin', which is annoying. Seriously, why is this a thing? Was this a thing for basically every PlayStation 1 game? I never really had this issue with other games. Maybe it's just these wrestling games, whatever. Just a thing to be aware of when you play the game. It is that if you even want to play the game in the first place. At the end of the day, WWF Smackdown 2 Know Your Role is a mediocre game that I can't believe is as bad as it is.
Oh, bitch, bitch, bitch.
Given this was the only one I grew up playing, I remembered it better than this. But video games age like cottage cheese and hot Arizona desert sun.
That's beautiful. It's like poetry.
The game isn't good, nor is it the worst. That's still WWF War Zone by a country mile. Smackdown 2 just has clunky controls, meh combat, meh creation tools, long load times, lack of commentary, lack of a referee, PS1 era graphical glitches, and pointless entrances, all holding it back.
Is that all?
I still recommend the game and give it 2 stars for mediocre. I'm glad to be done with this series of games and probably won't be touching a wrestling game ever again anytime soon.
Yes! Oh, thank you, Lord in heaven.
With that, we wrap up yet another compilation. Overall, out of every WWF game for the PS1, I still have to give it to WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game, for the best 2D one, but for the 3D and traditional wrestling game, that goes to WWF Attitude, to which I never thought I'd say. I mean, it wasn't that good, but compared to every other traditional wrestling game on here, with War Zone, Smackdown, and Smackdown 2, it's got the best overall graphics, combat modes, charm, and don't get me started on the commentary, voiced characters, and better create a wrestler.
Hear, hear.
Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.